Hello, Mets fan here in the Philippines. I just want to cover prior to the 2025 season. Pete Alonso was trying to get his contract. He was looking for suitors to sign him. And for some reason, the Stearns, Pete Alonso, will say Cohen, Boras, what had happened, closed doors came out. And what happened is that Pete Alonso said that all these things about Stearns, his formulas, and how he's going to fiddle with his formulas. I'm not quoting it side by side, but people are going to be judging or are going to debate on his Hall of Fame credentials while he's still fiddling or whatever the case might be with the formulas. Now, who do I think brought this out? I'm pretty sure it wasn't Stearns. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Cohen. Maybe Boras, or maybe Alonso, maybe a family member, or someone secondhand after he talked about it. This is just my own personal opinion. Not only my own personal opinion, but also something that I saw on TikTok of a player. But I think this was brought up right now because the Mets are struggling. The Mets are in last place. The Mets have the worst record. The Mets don't really have a first base. Polanco's injured. Vientos is the best player as of right now in that position, and they're crumbling. We just faced a team, and they beat the series out of us. Okay, the first thing that I want to cover is the normal thing. For me, this is not looking good for the Mets, but at the same time, it is looking good for the Mets. And I'll make sense out of that. The first thing that I want to cover is the stats or the stats of Pete Alonso, where the Orioles are at, so we could see that it's not only the Mets. The Orioles are second to last. The Orioles, as of right now, are 18-23. The bright side is that American League is weak. They are 1.5 games out. At the same time, they have 2 less losses than the Mets. Not only that, the top 3 teams for the wild card, the top 3 teams for the wild card apparently for this, or the top 2, are under 500. As you can see, it's wide open. The Orioles are 1.5. So I gotta give them credit for that. But at the same time, they're 2 losses less than the Mets. They have a bad record. Second, as of right now, the average of Pete Alonso is 214. 8 home runs, 214, with 43 strikeouts, and I believe it's 33 or around there hits. As you can see, his average is not good and his strikeouts are not good. I like Pete Alonso. I respect him, but at the same time, what Stearns was mentioning, or the way the lifespan of the first base at a certain age, it starts declining, is proving. There's no ifs, nors, or buts about it. It's proving. And that's one thing that we have to look at the Mets on why they did this. This is one of the few reasons why they did it. Yes, we got rid of Brandon Nimmo. For me, I was a fan of that. He's flat-footed and he's not aging well. I kind of disagree with Jeff McNeil at the same time with this specialist thing that the Mets do. I felt like we're not giving them the good opportunities, the best opportunities. If he was with the Mets, we'll try to put someone else at second base. I like Jeff McNeil. Good average. Yes, he has a little temper when he strikes out or he don't get a hit, but he's a contact hitter. I like that. I'm a big contact hitter type of person. Now that I cover that area, I want to cover on the Mets. The Mets point of view. This is the way I saw it from 2023. I know that Pete Alonso became a free agent. In 2026, he went with the Orioles. That year, the Mets acquired all these players in 2023 trying to make a run. Steven Matz didn't sign. Stephen Cohen went all out. He signed Verlander, Swisher, David Robertson, Tommy Pham. Tried to build a team to compete. It failed. It went 75-87, fourth in the NL East. What was the plan? The plan shifted. The plan shifted that we're not going to contend for the next 2 years. Steve Cohen said that. We're not going to contend. We're still going to put a team in place, but basically we're looking for the future. Not next year, but the brighter future later on. We traded Verlander. We traded Swisher. We absorbed most of their money. We try to get these players. We got Gilbert, Acuna, and Clifford doing those transactions. If you look at it right now, look at all these four players that I mentioned. At that point, we may not like it. We probably didn't like it because we could have contended the following year. But look at them. Where's Verlander? Where's Swisher? Where's Robertson? Tommy Pham came back. I believe he opted out. I'm not sure. But he's no longer in the major league team. Right now, we're trigger happy hating the Mets. 2 or 3 years from now, we could see what actually happened. That same year, Pete Alonso agreed a $20.5 million contract to avoid salary arbitration. And that was in 2024 in January. So after that season, he signed that 1 year salary arbitration. In 2024, once again, the plan was not to compete, but focus on the future. Pete Alonso was going to be a free agent after that season. The Mets made the playoffs. Not only that, you could tell that we were not trying to go all out winning the World Series or trying to be competitive in the playoffs. Who did we get? We got Brassabon, we got Winker, we got Maton, and we got Stanley. If you're trying to compete, if you're trying to win a World Series, those are not the type of players that you acquire. At the same time, we had a farm system that we're trying to build to compete later on. Pete Alonso hit that home run against Devin Williams. At that point, the fans, not only because he's homegrown, they fall in love with him a lot more. So it was against the wall for Stearns to sign him. Not only that, we didn't have no other player. We did sign Soto, but just to top it off, we signed Pete Alonso. 2 years, but I believe it was, let me double check on this. It was $20 million for signing. I don't have it written down, but I know it was a total of $30 million for that year and $54 for a total combined of 2 years. But Pete Alonso could opt out. Here's where I think the plan was. Vladimir said this in a podcast in Spanish. He said, was I going to sign with the Orioles, with the Blue Jays? Maybe. But I knew there was 2 teams that were looking at me. He, as a player, knew there was 2 teams looking at him. Just by other players talking, he said. He said the Padres were looking at him and the New York Mets. This is where I think that the Mets' plan was let Pete Alonso walk and then sign Vlad Guerrero. But we have to remember, Vlad Guerrero signed during the season. He had a plan, he said, on what amount he was waiting for to sign. After that, just sign. And that's what happened. Do I think that the Mets were going to go after him? Absolutely. But those are just speculations that even the player, Vladimir Guerrero, said it. Remember, now, when he said this is after he signed with the Blue Jays. So there were people talking, there were players talking that he will probably sign with the Mets. Him and Juan Soto are, I'm not going to say the best of best, but they do hang around and they are friends. Him and Tatis are also the same. It kind of makes sense. The Mets didn't make the playoff, the 2025 season. But we started out hot and we were about to make the playoffs that we traded for players. We traded for, at this point, I found that we were trying to be more competitive. We went for Housey, Tyler Rogers, Soto, and Mullins. We didn't go all out, but we did get a closer from the St. Louis Cardinals, the Giants' top reliever or one of the top relievers, Soto, and Mullins, a center fielder for the Orioles since the Orioles were struggling. Just like right now they're struggling. So this is where I feel that the Mets were not trying to sign him. And at the end, the final year, once he opted out, they say, okay, he could leave. The plan backfired after Vladimir Guerrero signed, and now we're stuck with him that year, and he could opt out. And I feel that I saw this the last game against the Diamondbacks. Cohen said that, Cohen or Keith Hernandez said that, or somebody said, I forgot who, that Vientos was there. They let him be the first baseman. That's the reason, basically, Pete Alonso walked. Maybe they didn't say it. Maybe it was something that I saw on X, but it kind of makes sense. Vientos, for me, he swings a lot. He strikes a lot, but for some reason this year, he seems more disciplined. He seems more, he's hitting the ball with contact, but it's landing a lot of pop flies, but they're on the warning track, which I like. So, I do not blame the Mets letting him go. I do not blame the Mets letting Nimmo go. Right now, we're mad, we're upset because the Mets are in last place. The plan should have been we were going to build for the next 3 years. This is year 3 with the prospects, but we didn't because we were competitive. This year, I felt that the Mets felt pressure that they had to build a team instead of trying to put these prospects along the way. We do have prospects, but it's like layers. Some of them on AAA, some of them on single A, and it's hard to put them all in the major leagues. Not only that, once again, we're in last place. We have all these pitchers that are going to be free agents or could opt out to be free agents. Clay Holmes, Freddie Peralta, I think Peterson as well. Those are 3 of our top 4. If you look at the other pitchers that are free agents, they're competitive teams or they're in the injured list besides Corbett Burns. I don't see them as competitive, the Diamondbacks. That the Mets have that option if they decide to sell instead of being buyers. We're in last place, like I said. But this is just the point of Pete Alonso that I'm trying to say is that I felt that this came out because we're in last. It doesn't suit well for Pete Alonso because I don't think it's going to age well for him. The average is speaking out loud right now. I believe it's going to increase the average, but it's going to struggle since there's already a lot of at-bats being played at. When it comes to the Mets, I think it's also going to be hard, but in addition, if you look at the free agents of next year, there's not a lot of good free agent hitters. Maybe Randy Arozarena, Garcia that got cut by the Rangers, Ozzy Alves, if they cut him, if they let him go because it's club option, who knows? But maybe that's the reason that the Mets had to get hitters because the following year or next year, there's not a lot of good hitters out there. Yes, Bo Bichette could opt out, which I think he will. The Mets could cut Roberts since they're seeing that he's always injured and let one of the other prospects come in. Who knows? They'll say, you know what? We'll let those 20 million walk. We don't know how can I say this? The lockdown is going to happen. There's rumors of players that teams are willing to trade. Once again, what's the lockout or the salary, if there's going to be a salary cap or whatever the case might be. But that's just my point of view on Pete Alonso. I like him. I thought he still wanted to play for the Mets at least one season to break those records, which he accomplished. Can't blame them. At the same time, he's the one that didn't sign that contract beforehand. Not only that, with Brody, I think, And then they gave him that 2 years and he opted out. At the same time, he knows he's going to get older and it's going to be less money later on. But I agree with the Mets. I felt that it was a wise move. I feel that the Nemo was a wise move. 2 years of Simeon over 3 years of Nemo. I believe it's going to age better for the Mets. What Jeff McNeil, we should have kept him, but that was just my own personal opinion. Maybe they just wanted to get rid of the old young Mets back then of McNeil, Nemo, and him. We look at Edwin Diaz also. He's in the injured list. I assume he's still in the injured list. It's not looking good neither. So we have to look at everything, not only what we have on our team, but the players that left. Now, granted, our number 3 hitters pathetic. Slater, Melendez. Polanco's not here. Lindor is not here, injured. So it's hard to put all these. If it wasn't for the top 12 game losing streak, we would have had a better record, but we don't. Thank you, and thank you for watching. Thanks.